The legal disclaimer ensures transparency about recipe sources and viewer responsibility. Vadai is one of the most iconic savory snacks of the Malaysian Indian community, a golden, donut-shaped lentil fritter that arrived on the Malay Peninsula with South Indian emigrants from Tamil Nadu and took root firmly in the local food culture. In Malaysia and Singapore, vadai are sold at hawker stalls, night markets, dals, and Indian coffee shops, often alongside thosai and idli as part of the beloved South Indian breakfast spread. The fritter's appeal crosses ethnic boundaries. Malays, Chinese, and Indians alike queue for freshly fried vadai, especially when they emerge crackling from a wok of hot oil. The word vada simply means fritter, and there are many varieties across the Indian subcontinent and the diaspora. The version in this recipe, made from soaked and ground split black gram W, is closest to what is known in South India as medu vada, medu meaning soft in Kannada. The defining characteristics are a crisp, deeply golden exterior, giving way to a fluffy, almost bread-like interior, and the unmistakable donut shape with a hole in the center that allows the batter to cook evenly and absorb less oil. The batter itself is plain, just lentils and water, and its flavor comes entirely from the aromatics folded in, finely diced onion, green chillies, and shredded curry leaves. What distinguishes the Malaysian vadai from its Indian ancestor is its context and accompaniments. In Malaysia, it is commonly served with fresh green chilies. Diners take a bite of vadai, then a bite of raw green chili, and chew them together for an intense, sharp heat that cuts through the richness of the fried lentil. Sweet or spicy chili sauce is another ubiquitous pairing, as is coconut chutney. The source recipe by Lee Suk Ching also notes an optional variation in which a few unshelled shrimps are pressed into the surface of each ring before frying. This is the prawn vadai, an innovation popularized in Singapore in the 1960s that has since become a regional icon in its own right. A note on the lentil, the source book lists split black peas, which in the Malaysian Indian culinary context refers to split and husked black gram, universally known as urad dal. Despite the name, the dal used for vadai is white. It is the split, dehusked interior of the black gram bean. This is confirmed by Aslan Blor's Singaporean prawn vadai recipe, which explicitly calls for split, husked urad dal, and notes that although urad dal is actually black when whole and unskinned, the one we want for this will look white, as it's been skinned and split. Main: split black gram, bofer, husked and split, 300 g. Onion, 1, medium. Green chilies, 3. Curry leaves, 2 sprigs, stems removed. Salt, 1 teaspoon. Ground black pepper, a pinch. Banana leaf, 1 piece, about 10 cm square. Cooking oil for deep frying. Here are the written ingredient list. Preparation steps. Step 1. Wash and soak the lentils. Place the 300 g of split black gram in a large bowl. Rinse thoroughly under cold running water, swirling the lentils with your hand and draining the cloudy water 3 or 4 times until the water runs nearly clear. Cover the dal with at least 5 centimeters of fresh cold water. The lentils will expand significantly as they hydrate, and leave to soak for a minimum of 4 hours, or ideally overnight. Soaking is non-negotiable. Dry lentils will not grind into a workable batter, and under-soaked dal will leave hard, gritty pieces in the finished vadai. The lentils are ready when they yield easily when pressed between 2 fingers. Cross-reference note: Aslan Blor, Singaporean and Malaysian recipes recommends soaking for a minimum of 2 hours, but prefers an overnight soak so the lentils become nice and soft. She stresses that the batter is made with just the lentils and a tiny amount of water, so thorough soaking is what allows them to grind into a smooth paste without excess liquid. Step 2. Drain and grind the lentils. After soaking, drain the lentils completely in a fine sieve, shaking off as much water as possible. Excess water is the enemy of a good vadai batter. Too much liquid and the mixture will be too loose to hold its shape, producing flat, oily fritters rather than plump, crisp ones. Transfer the drained lentils to an electric blender or food processor. Grind to a smooth, thick paste, adding only the smallest amounts of water, no more than 1–2 tablespoons total, just to help the blades move. The resulting batter should be thick and sticky, holding its shape when a spoonful is turned upside down. If using a traditional granite mortar and pestle, pound patiently until the paste is smooth and cohesive. Cross-reference note: Aslan Blor describes the ideal batter consistency as a fine balance between a soft batter that you can form into a shape and one that is too firm and produces hard vadais. She advises adding water only as much as is necessary, testing the shape each time. El Mundo Eats prefers a coarser texture, noting that some cooks like biting into bits of lentils here and there, but the classic medu vada style calls for a smoother paste for the characteristic fluffy interior. Step 3. Dice the onion and chilies. Peel the onion and dice it as finely as possible. Aim for pieces no larger than 2–3 millimeters. Fine dicing is important because large onion chunks will cause the delicate vadai batter to break apart during frying and will create uneven surfaces. Slit the 3 green chilies lengthwise, scrape out the seeds if a milder heat is desired, leave them in for a spicier vadai, and dice the flesh just as finely as the onion. Set aside in a small bowl. Step 4. Shred the curry leaves. Strip the curry leaves from their stems. Discard the stems as they are tough and fibrous. Stack the leaves, roll them tightly into a small cigar shape, and slice crosswise into very fine shreds as thin as possible. Coarsely chopped curry leaves will create large, leathery flecks in the fried vadai. Finely shredded leaves distribute their distinctive aromatic flavor evenly throughout the batter. Set aside. Step 5. Combine the batter. In a mixing bowl, combine the ground lentil paste, the diced onion, diced green chilies, and shredded curry leaves. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and a pinch of ground black pepper. Mix thoroughly with a spoon or your hand until all the aromatics are evenly distributed throughout the batter. The mixture should be soft and pliable but still hold its shape. As Lee Suk Ching writes, the mixture should be as soft as one can handle. If the batter feels too stiff, wet your fingers with a few drops of water and work it in. If too loose, a teaspoon of rice flour can help bind it. Step 6. Prepare the banana leaf. Wash the 10 cm square of banana leaf and pat it dry. Briefly pass it over a low flame or dip it in hot water for a few seconds to soften it and make it pliable. Lay it flat on your working surface and brush it lightly with cooking oil. The oiled banana leaf serves as the traditional shaping surface. The batter is formed into a ring on the leaf, then slipped gently into the hot oil. As Lee Suk Ching notes, any smooth, flat, and oiled surface can take the place of the oiled banana leaf. A square of oiled baking paper or plastic wrap works equally well for home cooks without access to banana leaves. Cooking steps. Step 7. Heat the oil. Pour cooking oil into a deep, heavy-bottomed pan or wok to a depth of at least 5 cm, enough for the vadai to float freely as they fry. Heat the oil over medium heat to approximately 175 degrees Celsius. To test the temperature without a thermometer, drop a small pea-sized piece of batter into the oil. It should sizzle immediately and rise to the surface within a few seconds, turning golden in about 45-60 seconds. If it browns too quickly, the oil is too hot, reduce the heat and wait. If it sinks and barely sizzles, the oil is too cool and the vadai will absorb excess oil and become greasy. Cross-reference note, Aslan Bloor and El Mundo Eats Both emphasize oil temperature as the critical variable. Aslan Bloor warns to fry on both sides of the vadai in moderately hot oil. Make sure the oil is not too hot, otherwise it will burn on the outside and remain uncooked inside. El Mundo Eats similarly advises frying on medium heat and being patient so the center cooks through. Step 8. Shape the vadai. Scoop approximately 1 tablespoon of batter onto the oiled banana leaf. Using lightly oiled fingers, gently flatten the dollop into a round disc about 5-6 cm in diameter. With your thumb or a wet forefinger, press a hole through the center of the disc to create a ring, the classic donut shape. The hole should be roughly 1-5-2 cm across. It allows hot oil to circulate through the center, ensuring the vadai cooks evenly and absorbs less oil. If desired, press a few unshelled shrimps into the surface of each ring at this stage for the prawn vadai variation. Cross-reference note, Lee Suk Ching's method involves shaping the ring on an oiled banana leaf, and then with a quick twist of the wrist, turn the leaf over so that the ring slips gently from the oily leaf into a pan of hot oil. Aslan Bloor confirms this technique, noting that forming the vadai on baking paper or banana leaf and sliding it into the oil is the easiest way to maintain the shape and avoid burning your fingers. Step 9. Fry the vadai. With a quick, confident motion, invert the banana leaf and let the shaped ring slip gently into the hot oil. Do not crowd the pan, fry 3-4 vadai at a time depending on pan size. The vadai will sink briefly and then rise to the surface as they begin to cook. Fry for 2-3 minutes on the first side until the underside is a deep, even golden brown, then carefully turn each vadai over with a slotted spoon and fry for another 2-3 minutes on the other side. The total frying time is approximately 4-6 minutes per vadai. They are done when they are uniformly golden, crisp to the touch, and cooked through. Break one open to check that the center is fluffy and pale with no raw, sticky batter remaining. Step 10. Drain and serve. Remove the fried vadai from the oil with a slotted spoon, allowing excess oil to drain back into the pan. Transfer to a plate lined with paper towels or a wire rack to drain further. Let them rest for 1-2 minutes. This brief rest allows the interior to finish steaming and the exterior to settle into its characteristic crispness. Serve hot while the contrast between the crackling crust and the soft, pillowy interior is at its peak. Vadai are best enjoyed immediately, freshly fried. Serve them with fresh green chilies for the authentic Malaysian experience. Take a bite of vadai, then a bite of green chili, and chew together. Alternatively, serve with sweet chili sauce, coconut chutney, or a simple dal curry. They make an excellent tea-time snack, breakfast accompaniment, or party finger food. Notes and tips. The lentil question. The sourcebook calls for split black peas, which in the Malaysian Indian kitchen refers to split, husked black gram, urad dal. This is the same lentil used for South Indian medu vada and is white in color, not black, because the outer black skin has been removed. Do not confuse it with whole black gram or with black turtle beans. Urad dal is available at any Indian or Asian grocery store. Water is the critical variable. The single most common reason vadai fail is too much water in the batter. The batter should be thick, sticky, and able to hold a shape. Add water only in drops, not tablespoons. If the batter is too wet, the vadai will absorb oil, fail to crisp, and may disintegrate in the pan. If this happens, bind the batter with 1–2 teaspoons of rice flour. Shaping without banana leaf. If banana leaves are unavailable, any smooth, flat, lightly oiled surface will work: a square baking paper, plastic wrap, or even the oiled back of a flat plate. The key is that the shaped ring must release cleanly into the hot oil without sticking. Prawn vadai variation. Lee Suk Ching notes that, if desired, a few unshelled shrimps can be pressed into the surface of each ring for added flavor. This is the Singaporean prawn vadai popularized in the 1960s. Press one medium prawn into the top of each shaped ring just before sliding it into the oil. Aslan Blor's recipe provides detailed instructions for this variation. Make ahead and storage. The soaked and drained lentils can be ground into batter and stored, covered, in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours before frying. Do not add the aromatics con until just before frying, as the salt will draw moisture from the onion and loosen the batter over time. Fried vadai are best eaten immediately, but can be reheated in a 180 degrees Celsius con oven for 5–8 minutes to restore some crispness. Microwaving will make them soggy. Texture preference. For a smoother, fluffier interior, grind the lentils to a very fine paste. For a more rustic texture with visible lentil fragments, pulse the blender more coarsely. El Mundo Eats prefers this coarser texture, noting that it provides the texture of biting into bits of lentils here and there.